Hello and welcome to Spiritually Inclined. My name is Crystal and I'm back with another video. Just wanted to give you guys an update on my situation. My last video, I let you guys know that my father has started the eviction process. He gave me the demand for possession, and as receipt, I wanted to show you guys that demand for possession, so you guys know that is really happening. For those of you who are just tuning in, I was already evicted back in March of last year from my own place. I was renting, and I had my spiritual awakening like maybe a year before I was evicted. And during that time, I became divinely blocked from being able to get a job any place. I was, trying to get a job profusely and I couldn't get a job at all. So I ended up, the universe allowed me to stay there without paying any rent for a whole year before I was evicted out. And once I was evicted, I came here to stay with my father. So, since I've been staying with my father back in March, I haven't been welcome here none of the time. The whole time has been, I've been hassled about when I'm gonna get a place and how he doesn't want me to be here, and things of that nature. But this is not about my dad or me having to be here. It's just the challenges that we go through and the things that we have to face when we're going through a spiritual journey. And during that time, you have to go through certain things, but for the most part, we have to be in solitude and in hermit mode, and we're isolated a lot. So I wasn't able to get a job, and so my father had gotten to the point where he wanted to go through the legal process to get us removed from here. And he actually went through with the eviction notice. He told me this the other day, that he had the eviction notice, but he decided not to give it to me because he changed his mind. And he was saying that he was going to try to see if it can be reversed. Well, he tried that and it didn't work, so we still have to go to court on Zoom. And so, that's going to be in 2 days on the 14th. We'll have the Zoom meeting with the judge. And he says, when the judge asks, would he like to give me more time, he's going to give me till June. So that's where I'm at right now. So, with that update and all, I wanted to really talk about spiritual journeys and, just summarize the spiritual journey. And I can only summarize and let you guys know what my understanding, from the time I started all the way up until now. So I kind of said some of that, as I was getting into what was happening for me, my current situation and circumstances. But okay, so when we're coming into an awakening, I came into my awakening, and I'm going to use my situation as an example, but it's like really generalized because I'm pretty sure it's the same concept for everybody, Maybe not the same experiences and the same circumstances and situations, but it's the same concept for everybody, I'm pretty sure. So when you're coming into an awakening, you're waking up to, everything that you thought was true that's really a lie, and everything that was a lie that you thought was a lie is really true. And you coming into this knowing, and as you progress, it just seems like things get worse, as far as, your situation and your well-being. And they're really challenges. They're not like this. It's not the situations getting worse. It may seem that way because it's definitely not fun to go through these things, but I'm gonna use what I went through my during my awakening and in my experience as an example. So as I was coming into my awakening, it became hard for me to pay my bills and pay my rent because at the time I wasn't working, and I was really like getting down to the nitty gritty trying to find a job. And in the process of me not working and trying to find a job and trying to figure out how I was going to pay my bills in the house that I was renting, I found out I was pregnant. And, with the history of my pregnancies, and this is in, my own personal experience with pregnancy, I always went through the experience of having hyperemesis. That's when you throw up and you can't keep anything down. It's like a constant, severe morning sickness that lasts. Some of the times it lasted me almost my whole pregnancy, but it was pretty bad with, my most recent baby I just had. Hence right behind me. But so I was sick during this time, really wasn't able to get no job. And so in those circumstances, I'm going to tell you what I believe, the universe was doing in that situation and allowing in that situation was for me to know that, there's nothing you can do physically. You can't control this physically because certain circumstances was keeping me from being able to get out, get a job, and like how I would normally do in a situation like that. But it got to it will stop you at all. Let's just say you're like right in the middle here, and it's different roadways you can take, but they all blocked off, if that make any sense. And you're standing there like, wow, I can't get out of this. There's no type of way, nothing I can do right now. And that's how the universe gets you to surrender. And so shortly after that, people started disappearing, like not for good, but like my daughter, me and my daughter was staying there. We was, splitting the rent and the bills as she became, an adult and started working her own job. She decided she didn't want to go to college, so she just got a job, and she was like, Ma, I'll help you with the bills or whatever. So she was helping, but once I stopped working, everything fell upon her, and I think it just got too stressful for her, so she left. And I couldn't get upset with her about that because I wouldn't want to, take over the bills nowhere either. So I understood. But it left me in a position like now, like I'm really, what am I going to do? Like, I'm pregnant, I'm sick, I can't even get out and work if I wanted to. And so I just kind of surrendered into my situation. And then, you know, the universe did provide me a way to pay the rent a few times, and it was paid up. But after so long, that ran out, and then I was back at, how am I going to pay this rent? How am I going to pay this rent? But I had these constant reminders, because during that time, during that awakening time, you're still, no matter what's going, like things is falling apart, but you're still in a fascination of what you're coming into enlightenment about. So I'm worried about my situation, but at the same time, I'm like concentrated on learning things. I'm going down a rabbit hole of, you know, different revelations and things I was finding out to be true, you know. And then I'm sick, so it ain't much I can do but to just keep diving into different, you know, into information and, you know, going within. I was, you know, talking to God a lot, because it was just me and God. Everything and everybody else was, you know, gone. It was just me and the house and my pregnancy, and that was it. My unborn child, for a whole year before anybody started coming back around. And then they was coming around sporadically. They wasn't really like staying, you know, it was come and go type of situation. So it was like the universe was like, you can still see your family, but they not going to be around like that, because they are nothing but distractions right now. We got to keep you focused. And that's what is happening. When everything is falling away, it's just distractions falling away. That's it. So there was no working, because a job is a distraction. You have to be at work. You worrying about what time you got to be at work. You got to get ready for work. Then when you get home from work, you tired. So no, the universe is not going to, you know, want you to work. You know, in some situations, people still be working jobs during their spiritual awakening. But I guess that's, you know, what it's all depends on the person that, you know, it's different strokes with different folks. So, but so, you know, it was just me in the house by myself. And I was coming into some deep discoveries, and at the same time, you know, trying to figure out, like, how am I gonna pay this rent. I stayed worried about the rent, but, you know, with the information I was absorbing at the time, it was like the universe was constantly telling me, and this information just kept on, the information that I was connecting to was always a message of, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about anything. The universe is always working things out. So I kind of held on to that. I was worried, but then I wasn't worried, but then I was, you know, you kind of like go in between the emotions about everything that's happening, because you're just coming in, like you're trying to get used to, you know, things happening. And right now I'm seasoned at it. But then, you know, I was, you know, that information was the only thing that was keeping me afloat, because, you know, if I wasn't in a spiritual awakening, I'd have been trying to do everything I can to, you know, physically, or I probably would have just ended up, I don't know. But it was the faith that my spiritual journey and the messages I was receiving from seeking. Because when you seek information, the universe is making sure that this information reach you, because you're opening yourself up to, you know, because before, you know, when you're not opening up yourself to knowledge, the God don't go against that. The God, the universe, you know, the infinite creator, the infinite consciousness, the conscious creator, whatever you call it, it doesn't go against your free will. So if a person is not seeking knowledge about anything, you it's just, you just living life. But by me having an awakening, I'm constantly looking up, looking for seeking answers and things like that. The constant message to me from the universe was let go, surrender. Don't worry about your situation. Everything is always working out. Even if it was a video I was scrolling saying that the universe wants you to know. You know how you get them people on YouTube and Instagram, always that be synchronicities. We think it's just, I'm into spirituality, I'm just seeing this stuff. No, it's on purpose. It's reaching you for a purpose because it's true. And the universe, whatever the universe wants you to know, you're gonna know it, and it's gonna be repeated. And everything that's repeated is definitely coming from the universe. So yeah, I'm looking, my guidance, was not to worry, and everything is working out. So that's what kind of got me through it. Then I had to worry about how I was gonna pay the light bills, and that's when my son moved in. And at first I was hassling him, giving him a hard time, and just telling him, it's not gonna be a permanent situation. You can be here for right now, but make sure you trying to get yourself together so you can get your own place, whatever. Ended up needing him there, and that's why the universe placed him there, not only for that, but to help me as well, to know that I don't have control over nobody else but myself. That was a lesson in that time and space that I was learning, and it kept repeating to me through everything, like the information I was absorbing, the readings I was doing. It was like saying, like, because I was kept on saying stuff to him, kind of like what I was dealing with my dad. When you gonna get your place? But I wasn't as bad as my father was with it. I wasn't trying to put him out or locking him out of the house and stuff like that. Yeah, I went through being locked out of the house as well. But I was kind of like, on his head about it. And then I let off because I kept getting, messages saying, leave him alone, and, just focus on your spiritual journey and what you're supposed to be focusing on, and everything will work itself out. And so I started leaving him alone, and come to find out, he was the one paying the light bill and stuff after everything was said and done. So that, worked itself out. Everything always worked itself out. When it says that, everything will work out, no matter what it is, no matter how bad it is going to work itself out. That is the absolute truth. And I speak to you from experience. It couldn't be no truer in my life, which is why now at this stage in my life, I can literally go through anything and not worry about it. Like, I don't care if my dad said get out right now, I still wouldn't worry about it. So then, there was the landlords calling every month. And a few times I thought we was going to end up being put out, but I chose not to worry about it, and the problem went away each time. It was, every month they would try for their rent, and they would threaten to put us out, but they never did for a whole year. And so I guess when the time came for me to, be removed from that space, because we don't know, but our location, wherever we're at, we're never where we're not supposed to be. You're always where the universe wants you to be for your growth. So if you're in a situation, or if you're placed somewhere where you don't really want to live, or you have to be somewhere where you really don't want to be, it's just best to I want to say embrace it, but accept where you are and just try to see what you can learn from it. Like with me, I had to come here. I didn't want to come here, and I don't know, maybe if I had been more advanced, where I'm at now, I probably could have ended somewhere else. No, I couldn't, because it was meant for me to be here because of the lessons I've learned while I was here, and I've learned a lot. I made tremendous growth here, and I'm appreciative of being able to be here despite the challenges I went through, which was, I had to deal with my father and his religious ways, which, automatically goes against what I believe in. So you got two people who don't believe in the same beliefs, and one that wants to be more, he wanted to be like dominant and controlling over me and what I believe. Just for example, last Sunday he went to church and decided he was gonna blast, the TV downstairs in the living room, which is right at the opening of the upstairs right here. It's like you come in the front door, then it's the upstairs as soon as you come in the front door. But then if you look over to the left, that's the the front room. I mean the living room, and he has a big screen TV. He decided that before he went to church, he was gonna blast church real loud and left out the door. That type of thing. Like he's the type of Christian that wants to force those beliefs off on you. And I've already told him and explained to him what I believe in. I stand full ground in what I believe in, unwavering. And he doesn't respect it. He looks down on what I believe, and he feels that religion is the only way. And so that's his truth, and he kind of wants to try to force that upon me if he could. He also made remarks like I should be going, like, if he said if this had been any other time, any of his kids come stay with him, they would have to go to church. I'm like, well, I'm not a kid, and you can't make me go to church. You can't make me do that. But yeah, he wanted, he's the type that likes to force, religiousness off on to me. He be trying it, but I don't go for it. I become unresponsive to it. I ignore it. And actually it's gotten better because I've been ignoring it, and he lately haven't been. That last Sunday was the first thing he did in a minute. He used to be, talking to me about it, and I just started being non-responsive to it, and I just didn't respond to him, because if I respond back, I have to respond in a way where, that fits that's in alignment with what I believe in. And then there's a whole back and forth, and next thing I know, I have him telling me I need to go, and we can't live unequally yoked in the house together and all that type of stuff. That's what he was saying to me at first. But yeah, he's religiously overbearing. And that was part of the challenges I went through. Hold on, God, this phone trying to go dead. Put my charger in. So, yeah, so, you know, being here has and dealing with that has taught me to master. That's when I first got here. That's when I started like really having to, like I always tell y'all, I try to pull myself out of the situation, pull my feelings out of it, and look at it from an outer perspective. And I started doing that, and I started seeing like I was supposed to be mastering my responses. Like, I don't have to respond to everything. I don't have to say anything back to everything said to me. And once I started, and it was hard. It was hard. I'm going to say it was trial and error at first. And it seemed like every time I opened my mouth, it just made things worse. So I started just, you know, mastering my responses. But then I realized, like, it's good not to respond sometimes too. Like, most of the time, it's great to not even respond, because trying to, you know, be understood, trying to, you know, disagree with somebody who's headstrong and overbearing can get you in, you know, I ain't gonna say get you in trouble, because I'm never in trouble, but it can make matters worse between you and the individual. So it's just, you know, I learned to just not respond in anger, because at first I was getting mad back. Then once I, you know, got out of being mad back, I had to, you know, keep control of this. Because I said a few things that could have got me put out of here, but I had to, you know, get that under control, because it's not always, I ain't gonna say for that reason, because I know I'm always gonna be good whether I'm staying here or not, but it's just best to keep the peace. You know, things can get out of control when you trying to, you know, keep going back and forth, and it's not that important. So, you know, sometimes it's just good to let people have it. You know, they ain't gotta be right, and they might think that they right because you let it go, but that's okay. They can think that they right, but you ain't gotta agree. I realize I can disagree without, you know, letting it be known that I disagree. And anything I don't agree with, I just keep quiet about. I just don't say nothing about it, because, you know. So I learned that I was supposed to master my responses, or, you know how to be quiet. Silence is golden. And how not to bring my energy levels down to, you know, the level of other people. Because my dad can be, when he gets upset and he goes from 0 to 10 in 2.2 seconds. So the times that he was like really being like angry and yelling and screaming and stuff, I was just, you know, chilling. But everything I said, it seemed to upset him. And that's why I said maybe it's just best I be quiet, because it'll keep a lot of commotion down, keep a lot of conflict down. And the best thing, another thing for me, is that, you know, when I have to respond, to know how to respond as well. And when you're slow to respond, you can better think about what it is you want to say, so that, you know, you can respond in a way where can't nobody get mad, you know. So yeah. So being here has taught me a lot about that, and the longer I'm here, the more mellow it becomes, because I learned that. But then now it's like putting it into practice. It's like I gained mental clarity about that, and then it's like it kept happening to the point where it's like slowing down, because my energy is at a level where it stays to where it's at. And it's like when your energy is at a certain level, your outer reality and the people around you have to adjust to where you at. So, and then he was telling me too, like God was dealing with him about me. He kept saying that all while I was here, but he didn't really let that stop him too much. And the last little incident we had, he mentioned that, and I told him God been telling me to be quiet too. And that's why I told him that's why I haven't been really, like, I don't say nothing back too much. I be, just letting you have it, because it ain't that important. And he said God been dealing with him about me. And that's why I say the universe got you. You never know. When you handle things the right way, the universe has to have your back. And the way to do that is, it's not your battle to fight. Just think of that. Whenever somebody is coming at you with anything, just know that it's not your battle to fight. Let the universe have it. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to respond. You ain't got to retaliate. None of that. Just let the universe deal with it. Save your energy. That's what the universe wants you to do. Save your energy. I'll handle this. Because when we try to deal with things on our own, we don't leave the universe any room to help us. Universe can't help us and make things better. That's why they teach us, that's why we're conditioned to go out. If it's something we want, we got to go out and get it. No, all we got to do is, as far as the universe is concerned, is have a desire for it. And that desire will create inspired action that comes from the heart, and it's pure action, not something that you feel you have to do, but something that you really want to do. That's what inspired action is. Not something that you have to make yourself do. It's something that you just do because it brings you joy, because you want to do it. And a lot of times we move from a place of, I gotta do this because this not gonna get done unless I do it. And that's not the way to go. That's why we end up manifesting things that don't last long. Whereas if you manifest, doing things out of action to get, out of action and control, don't last long. That's why throughout my life, I had to stay with people several times, because everything I had, I was going out and getting, because I felt like that's what I needed to do. I had to do it in order to get it. And when you come into your spiritual awakening, you're learning how to get what you need, and how to live the life that you really truly desire, and how to get it in a way where it's going to last you and you can't lose it. It's not going to be lost, because you're going to be getting it from a different consciousness, and a consciousness where you're going to constantly attract into you what you're vibrating at, and the energy level that you're at. So yeah, this video was a lot more longer than usual, but I just wanted to summarize my spiritual journey, in the phases that I went through, and the lessons that I was learning at the time to, you know, just to help give you guys insight on how it works. And I'll continue to do so. Until the next video, take care.